Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, respected His Holiness, respected Mahasangha, Venerable monks, Venerable nuns, and distinguished guests. First of all, I would like to pay gratitude to the Institute, University Board that extend the invitation to host us here today on our third day of visiting India. I still remember the walk for peace in the United States when we concluded at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. That is the day we also receive a very beautiful letters from His Holiness to acknowledge and encourage the walk for peace. And his niece, with one of the Rinpoches, also read that letter from His Holiness to the Walk for Peace team. With that connections, it's connected us all together, and now we are here in this university, in this auditorium. The first time that I heard that this is a brand new auditorium, and we happen to stand here in front of you all as an opening. And so, and then when we arrived here, we get to plant 2 Bodhi trees out there in this facility. And then when we planted the trees, we did the blessing. And then while we did that blessing, in my mind, and I thinking of these trees will be growing, especially Bodhi tree will grow very fast and will give shade to all the beings, and as human beings as well. So that tell me that we as a human being in this generation, we have many future generations as well to come. And we soon will become the future generation as well after we pass away and reborn again. And in living in this world, in a very fast-paced, everything moving very quick, very fast. We live in division, conflict, war, and disasters is increasing every day. And we barely have a peaceful day for our life. We work really hard to have a peaceful day, but just within one minor thing happened to our life, we ruined it, we messed it up. It's very difficult to build it up, yet it's very easy to ruin it. Just one react. Within one reaction upon those things comes to our life, we mess our life up. Once we messed it up, we build the bridges for all the bad karma in the past to come to us. That is when we are overwhelmed with karma, with sufferings. And then when we overwhelmed with sufferings, we become anxiety, depression, stress, things like that. Once we get all those, then our life will gradually going down and going down and going down. Because of defilement mind is only building the bridges for the bad karma to come. We are stopping all the good deeds, stopping doing all the good deeds, and we stopping all those good karma in the past to come to us. For that reason, that is why we suffer day after day, month after month, and then year after years. We suffer just like that. But then we didn't realize that suffering was so awful, so bad. And then when we be able to stand up again and walk, and then we totally forgot about it, and then we commit into bad karma again. We continue building a lot of bad habits for our life. That is what we've been doing. And what happened to our kids, our future generations? They are looking up at us. They are seeing us living the way we are right now. Every little thing, the way we talk, the way we interact in the family, in the society, and with our kids, it captures everything in their mind. And then when they grow up, they use all those for their living. The way of living just like us, just like their parents, their brother and sister. It keep going like that, that direction keep moving forward just like that. So the suffering can never end. And they are the future generation who will run the country, who will run everything and this facility and all that. What if they have a very unwholesome mind? Where are they going to lead everyone to? It's going to be suffer. Is that right? So when we plant the tree, thinking that we are planting and we are raising our kids right now. But how do we raise our kids right now that tells the futures of this country and the world? If we raise our kids with mindfulness, with love and kindness and compassion, everything will be different. But we raise our kid with anger and hatred and greedy and delusion, with all those things, and they will carry on like that and live their life just like that. And they pass it on to all the people and their future generation the same way. So it all depends on us to have a better life, to have a better world or not. It all depends on us right now. If we want to have a better life, we want to have a better world, a better place for the future generation to live, we must practice mindfulness, which is the Buddha teachings that have been decades already. And many beings, many human beings who practice mindfulness and end suffering to attain the blissfulness of Nibbana already, except us. And so my question is always, I always question myself and question everyone around me, when are we going to end this suffering? When are we going to stop the samsara? And so when I see many kids running around, living in the rural area, and even in a booming area cities, our kids are not mindful at all. Because of everything in this world is so fast and they are chasing just like us. And we are providing them all those things that they need, which is technologies. Especially in Western world, when they have the ability to provide it to their kids, a lot of materials and technologies. Not sure about India nowadays, but I'm pretty sure those booming places, kids nowadays, they live a very good life with technologies, with materials, but then again, they are losing their memory every single day. Why do they live in losing their memories, and us, we also losing our memories? I hope that we can see this is because we could remember a lot of things by heart back then. But we can ask ourselves right now how much thing that we can remember by heart, and how difficult it is for us to study and to learn by heart. And what's the reason behind all those? It's because we are dependent on the others, we are dependent on the social media, we are dependent on technologies way too much. And we are teaching our kids the same way. That is what makes this world become so divided. Because we are living with technologies talking with people elsewhere, but not the person in front of us, not the family members. And so the world is moving like this, continue. I do see that the big major problem coming after. And so planting a tree just like raising the future generation. If we know how to raise them, the world will be better in the future. And that is one of our messages when we did the Walk for Peace. We also show people the real problem for the future generation as well. And so now, I remember that back then when I lived in Vietnam, you know, when we are children, we learn very quick. We see things and we remember it, and when we grow up, we use all that. So exactly the same, if our kids seeing us interact, talk, not mindfully, in not a good way, then that is what they're going to turn into. That is what they're going to become. So I hope that in order for us to have a better world in the future, we have to start from us. Practicing mindfulness, living with compassion and loving kindness to create peace for our life, for ourselves, and our future generations. When those future generations grow up happily and peacefully and mindfully, they will definitely provide a larger, broader shade to all beings. Means they will create more peaceful society to their country, to the world. But if we are not giving them all that opportunity, they will also create something for the world, but then that is tearful. We can see there are so many kids out there, we don't know who they are, what they will become in the future, but we're pretty sure some of them will become something bigger, more powerful in the future to bring happiness to the world. Yet among all those kids, there will be some kids will become somebody who will bring tears to the world. So it depends on us to build the new world, the future world, to give them that opportunity and lead them to the right direction. As the Buddha said, I have walked through this path. This path will take you to happiness and suffering, and this path will lead you to suffering. Whichever path that you walk on is your choice. And so, while planting that tree, I had that in my mind. That reminds me again the talk in the United States about the future generations. So I hope that all of us in this room and online, we will start raising our kids, our future generation, with kindness, compassion, and show them mindfulness, show them the role model, because they are looking up to us. We will become their role model. And the role model have to be to live peacefully and happily every day. In order for us to do that, we have to practice mindfulness, which is there are so many ways of practicing mindfulness. But the way that I always share is to breathe in and breathe out. Each and every breath going in and each and every breath going out, if you be able to be mindful with it, we will have a peaceful moment. That peaceful moment will lead to a 1 hour, 2 hour, 1 day, 2 days, 4 days, and 1 month, and 1 year, and 1 life of peace. And I hope that I could be able to share with you more, but due to time limit, I will stop my sharing here, and hoping that I will have a chance to share more in the future. But right now, I have a few minutes to take your questions if you have any.
Bandiji, it's me, Dr. Pema. I have seen your Walk for Peace journey from Texas to Washington, D.C. But just I missed the first week, but then I followed you all the way. I have a question in mind always that after having a good life in a physical world, in a materialistic world, you become a very good education. You had a good education, and also you become an engineer, and you are working in Texas University. So my question is, what inspired you to become a monk, to renunciate all these things, and then what inspired you to start this Walk for Peace journey? Thank you.
Thank you. My life becoming a monk is quite challenge and fun, because when I was working after I graduated, and I worked for about 2 or 3 years, and then from there I have seen so many changes in my life, in my family, and the friends around. Working in the engineering field, I tend to get a lot more attention from people, and that is the reason why people always call my name for help. And the way I live is always fulfill people's needs. And so sometimes it overwhelmed me when this side calling me, that side calling me, and things like that. And I worked really hard during that time. But then when I also have friends, even though that I don't go out a lot, but I also have friends. And sometimes we have close friends. But then when come to benefits, friends become something else. It's not truthful anymore. Friends will willing to step on us to climb higher. And so that questioned me, is this life, is this real, is this something that I want? And then certainly so many problems come to my family, my father, my mother, my brother and sister, and my niece and nephew, and the people around me. I see a lot of challenge, I see a lot of sufferings. And I question myself, is this the path that I really want to walk on, continue following my parents and my brother and sister? Or I want something else? I didn't have an answer at that time. When I didn't have an answer and I become stressful, I become anxiety, because that time I don't talk a lot. Okay. And then certainly one day in the heat summer, under the hot sun, I took off from work, I drove myself to the Hương Đạo Vipassana Bhavana Center, and I saw my teacher. He walked under the heat at 12 noon around outside. And I just walked behind him, following him for a while, and then he stopped, and then he turned back and asked me, what can I help you? Automatically I respond, I say, Master, can I ordain to become a temporary? And then he smiled and he said, yes, when? I say, give me 2 weeks to arrange my work. And then he asked me, are you going to shave your head or keep your hair? And I say, I want to shave it. And then 2 weeks later, after asking for permission from my parents, and I joined the monastery, and he shaved my head, and then I became his student. He taught me and given me a book, and then teach me how to recite Pali and things like that. And after for a while, I said I have to go back to work. And then when I went home and he called me, he said, how's your life at home? I say, I'm not happy. And he asked me, would I like to come back to the temple? I said, yes, but my parents wouldn't allow me. And so time after time I asked my parents, they allowed me to go back to the temple, stay there for a while, and then after that I decided to become a monk, because this is what I really want. I don't want to go back to the normal life anymore. I don't want to walk on that